What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. The kid is sleeping, so today I will not be talking that loud. But anyways, let's get straight to the point and talk about some ridiculous Russian propaganda. And so, recently, almost forgot. Recently in Tomsk, there was a victory parade. The same one that is celebrated pretty much across every single city in Russia, with the main one being in Moscow. By the way, every single one of you guys who joined our yesterday's live stream, thank you so much. Hopefully you did enjoy the surprise before the live stream, but okay. So in Tomsk there was yet another victory parade, and there was this veteran of the Second World War, 98-year-old grandfather, who suddenly started to feel not so good even before the parade started. So he asked for some water, and then whenever the woman with the water started to try and approach him, she was told like, no, don't go in, like you cannot ruin the picture on TV. Like our veterans, they're strong people, they live forever. We cannot show weakness. We cannot show that these people require something. They are self-sufficient. So eventually, yes, you guessed it, 90-year-old guy, he was not able to drink some water. He started to feel even worse. He even almost passed out, and then the entire ambulance had to go in and to give him some first aid. So basically it shows you perfect difference how Putin shows veterans to the world and to obviously Russians, and then the actual treatment of the actual veterans. Two completely different worlds. And also, by the way, speaking about this so-called victory parade in Moscow, right here is a very interesting comparison between 2021 victory parade and the most recent 2024. We guys did notice during the live stream that, well, it kinda looks way smaller than it used to be, no? Well, here is absolutely undeniable proof that, once again, according to Russians, there are not that many losses. Well, as you can see, this is not quite true. But okay, as always it is time to get serious. Let's now guys talk briefly about Ukrainians continuing to attack the oil industry of Russians. Then I'm gonna give you a quick update from the east, where the offensive of Russians slowed down significantly. And then the update from the south, where the Z-Lunatic literally decided to ambush his comrades in their sleep. And so, first of all, right here is video from Anapa, where you can see one of oil refineries is on fire as a result of Ukrainian drone attack. Then yet here is another video from Kaluga. Pretty much similar thing happened. And then Bashkiria. This one particular one is 1500 kilometers away from Ukrainian front lines, approximately 1000, almost 1000 miles away. Which basically means that if Ukrainian drone was able to fly that long without being intercepted, well, I don't know how much worse Russian air defense can get, but apparently there are no limits. If you remember, previously there was also an attack allegedly using ATACMS in Luhansk against oil storages of Russians, once again in Luhansk. And as you can see from these satellite images comparison, at least 3 big oil reservoirs were destroyed. Which, by the way, brings us a very valid point that Ukrainians attacking oil refineries in Russia does not necessarily make things worse for the oil prices for the world. Because previously the concept was that, the oil prices will increase significantly, right? It's not quite that. Apparently, the oil prices started to go down. You can even go ahead and check oil prices in Google if you want. Some particular oil brands are indeed going down. And the reason for this it is because not just refineries are being targeted by Ukrainians, but also storages. Just the same one with, for example, we talked in Luhansk. So what it means? Russians do not have place to store this oil. Obviously, it does have its own expiration. And Russians, they're forced to sell this oil as soon as possible before it gets bad. So, for this reason, they have to sell it at a lower, much lower price. So these arguments that some Western representative they were mentioning, Ukraine should stop, it creates instability on the... Well, it is... No. This is as simple as that. It is wrong. In response to that, Russians decided to once again target civilian area in Nikopol, as you can see from this picture. Well, nothing else would you expect from the Z army. Right, now as promised, let me give you a brief update from the east of Ukraine and then we go to the south. But before we proceed, guys, if you don't mind, if you do like this style of daily news updating, can you please simply like this video and subscribe to my channel? This helps tremendously. You have no idea how much of a help it is with this YouTube algorithm absurdity. You can also check my second channel, The Russian Dude Investing, if you would like to hear me talking about news from the stock market. The link to my second channel is also down below. And so yes, first of all, speaking about the situation in the east, we first have to make one quick stop on the territory of Russia in Bryansk, where Ukrainians were able to destroy a Russian very expensive electronic warfare system called Svet-Ku. Next is the video from Toninki, which should be already relatively familiar to you guys. This is a so-called small settlement that Russians do not pay too much attention, but apparently somehow they still lose dozens or at this point hundreds of pieces of units of military equipment. And well, right here is yet another confirmation of this. Extra ultra mega modern Russian tank T-90M was completely absolutely it just ceased to exist with the help of Ukrainian drones. And then right here is a small compilation from the entire eastern front lines where Ukrainians using HIMARS were able to destroy several very fat targets, such as for example Krasnucha 4 electronic warfare system, 2 Buk M3s and 1 BM-21 Grad multiple launch rocket system, and then also a small conscript base. Full and uncensored versions of every single video and photo I'm showing in my episodes you will be able to find, guys, on my Patreon, the link is down below. But one last thing to talk about the East, extremely crucial one, is that according to the Ukrainian intelligence, Russian offensive, the pace of it, slowed down significantly in the last several days, and there are reasons for this. First of all, they did see that a lot of Russians started to leave kinda Avdiivka frontline and they started to relocate a little bit more to the north, to the settlements such, for example, Turetsky. Then at the same time in Crimean, Russians kinda try to continue their offensive, but since there is absolutely no progress for the last several months at this point, they are not trying as hard as they used to. And then another, I would say the most important reason why we see this happening right now, guess what? May 9th, Putin's personal favorite holiday is over. He was not able to present any single major victory to his people, so he only had to say exactly the same narrative he says every single year. The West is against us, Russia needs to unite, blah blah blah. For this reason, like once again, there are not that many deadlines, so there is nothing for Russia to achieve. They can continue at current pace because there is simply nothing to achieve. There is no deadlines once again. But it is not necessarily a good thing. They might use the temporarily slowdown in order to reinforce and to resupply their forces both in Ukraine and in Russia. So right now is the time when it's seemingly nothing is happening, but this is the time when Ukrainians have to seize the initiative if they want to turn the tide of war in their favor. They have to act right now. But at the same time, there are some relatively good news from the south already started to come to us. First of all is that Russians attempted at least 16 attempts against Staromayorsky and Rabotiny in the Zaporozhye frontline. Every single one of them was successfully repelled by Ukrainians. And then 3 armored vehicles of Russians of various kinds were destroyed in their another attempt against Pervomaisky. But without a doubt, the most significant event is that the morale of the Russian forces started to decline recently extremely fast. There is now so many new reports about literally these soldiers becoming crazy, becoming like literally almost like lunatics, and attacking their own comrades. Specifically in Zaitsevo, Luhansk region, reportedly one Z soldier, he was able to eliminate his commander, and on April 10th he was detained for doing this, obviously. And since this time, this was the very last day when his family heard from him. So, well, you can already assume what happened to him. And then on May 4th in Alexandrivka, Donetsk region, even crazier thing happened. For whatever reasons, only probably this guy and this regiment, only this unit, they know the true reasons why this had to happen. But apparently the soldier like literally woke up in the middle of the night and eliminated at least 6 of his own comrades whenever they were quote-unquote peacefully sleeping. The most probable version is that they were making fun of him, so he was like at his breaking point and then he snapped. Potentially some more reasons is that because this is a war, so obviously there is not that much people who can resist in their minds what's happening around them. So once again he just probably something clicked in his mind or something like this. But the fact is the fact, this is what happened, and these are, I'm almost certain, these are just a few of the examples. I'm sure there are way more of them happening almost every single day. But wait, there is more. One more crucial event also happened in the south recently. Particularly what I'm talking about is that Russians stopped using the Crimean Bridge. And we're gonna talk about the reasons why this happened on my Patreon. This will be an exclusive chapter for my Patreons. Guys, I just want to thank you so much for supporting me. This is now the main source of income, Patreon. So if you want to see this chapter along with all the extra footage, please go ahead and check my Patreon. The link is down below. Thank you guys so much. Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It helps a lot. Don't forget about my second channel, Russian Dude Investing, and all the other useful links are down below. Patreon, PayPal, Instagram, merch. Everything is down below. Thanks so much for watching. See you tomorrow.